Welcome to our shop. My name is Dan and this is my daughter Rachel.
Today my dad and I are going to do a 12-volt conversion on this 9N Ford. If you have a 9N or a 2N, the techniques will be the exact same and you will be able to follow along. You know, sometimes an electrical system can be a little daunting or intimidating, but my dad and I are going to show you how simple it is to put a new clean wiring harness and an alternator on so that you have a 12-volt system that charges, that starts fast with bright headlights and such.
This tractor, we have taken all the old nasty electrical off this tractor, so please start with it all off. Do not trying to salvage anything. Even the cable, look at this nasty cable here that went to the starter, all going to be put on new, so it's a very dependable system. We have removed the radiator just for your viewing, so that you can see what we're doing. You do not have to remove the radiator. We're going to get started right down here with the alternator, and the kit provides you the bolt and this bracket. Rachel salvaged the original bolt that went and held the generator on. You got to keep that. The bracket's offset. So the offset on the alternator part goes forward, the part on the bottom goes to the back. It has two size holes, so you got to line these up too. The holes are larger on the governor housing and they're smaller on the alternator. This alternator also is a one-wire alternator with a small pulley because the tractor doesn't rev up like a car, so that's why we really like using this one wire. Works really well with a small pulley. Rachel's just going to put this bolt in here finger tight because we want it loose because we've got to get all this lined up, then we'll go back and tighten everything up.
On the top of the block, you need to remove 3 of your head bolts and then you'll be ready to place this bracket in place. Your kit does come with a few washers and those are designed to be used as shims so that you can get this bracket for the linkage here to sit level across there. Since you're adding the thickness of this bracket, you need to add that much thickness back here. I've seen a couple of these where that bolt is cut off and I'm not really a fan of that. If you can leave your bolt intact and shim it, that'll be better in my opinion. Because these are head bolts, you do need to re-torque them, and the torque specs are different if you have nuts with studs like we have or if you have head bolts. So you can consult your manual to make sure that you get the right torque specification. I think we're at 55 here, aren't we?
This one has the studs and we're going to torque these to 55, and if we had bolts then it would be 65.
Okay. So while he's tightening that up, I'm going to go ahead and put the belt into place. This belt is different for an alternator than the belt that you took off your generator system, so it is important that you change your belt. Plus, it's just a good time to replace the part that will wear. This has to slide down. There's the front crankshaft pulley in the front of your engine here, and it's got to slide down through there and wrap around the crankshaft. If you need to use a screwdriver to work it in there, just be gentle, as you don't want to get too rough with a belt. So it slides around the bottom of the crankshaft pulley up through here and then onto the alternator. Kind of force that on, just like that. The next piece, this piece is slotted to allow you to make the appropriate adjustment for your alternator. You can move it back and forth. Notice that our alternator is not touching the manifold. You don't want your alternator to get too hot. And you're going to stretch it out so that you have a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of tension or play, movement, whatever you want to call it, on the belt here, and that's really important. So you can choose whichever hole here. This bracket's a little bit generic for multiple tractor applications. I think the second hole is probably going to be best for us. What do you think? Is that okay with you?
I can make that work, yep.
Okay. Then you tighten it into the alternator here. You just move it back and forth until your belt is at proper tension. The next step is to put a 12-volt coil onto your tractor instead of a 6-volt coil. This is a 2.5 ohm coil, which is going to match up with a 1/2 ohm resistor that we'll put on the dash in a little bit. But for now, you just need to replace your coil to the 12-volt style. In order to do that, you just pull this bail off, and there's 2 spots on the bail where you can reach onto, and then the coil will just pull straight up and off. Take off your old gasket and you can put a new one on. If it's been a while since you've done a tune-up, you can do a tune-up on your distributor while you're here. And we have a separate video that goes through all of the steps involved with that. But it's not necessary that you change anything else in your distributor when you do a 12-volt conversion besides the coil. The rest of the parts in the distributor don't care if it's 6-volt or 12-volt. When you look at your coil, you just want to make sure that both of these prongs are in position and ready to drop down in there. And then you just set it down there straight, and then the bail will slide back up over the top. If you discover that your bail is stretched out, that happens. You can order a replacement bail if you need it. I think I'm gonna need a screwdriver to help me get back over, but you reach this back up over the top and then your coil replacement will be all set. Your tractor may have a metal loom like ours does as well. Unfortunately, this alternator bracket prevents the loom from fitting on. So you have two choices. One, you can ditch the loom altogether, or two, you can cut the loom off. We are going to not use the loom. If you want to, you can fish out your spark plug wires and reuse them if they're in good shape. Ours are showing some damage here, so we're gonna take this opportunity to put a new set of spark plug wires on. However, I don't want that to confuse you because spark plug wires aren't sensitive to 6-volt or 12-volt applications. They're just spark plug wires, so you don't necessarily have to change your spark plug wires if you don't want to. We're gonna put new ones on.
So we've taken them off. The question we get a lot of times is, what's the firing order on my Ford? How do I put the wires back on? How do I know? Ford 8Ns and 9Ns and 2Ns are the easiest tractor to put this back together. On the cap, they molded the numbers 1, 2, 4, 3, right in the cap. Wow, so the rotor turns counterclockwise. So the rotor comes past 1, that's your firing order, 1, 2, guess what? Hits 4, 3. So it makes it real simple. The firing order is 1, 2, 4, 3. And you just put the wire simply in. This goes to spark plug 1, which is closest to the radiator. Put this in 2, put this on number 3, and this on number 4, and you've got it perfectly firing order correct. So it does make it very, very easy to fish them out. The other thing you got to be careful of is putting the wires down here. Rachel and I are going to make sure we zip tie them to the bail on this side, and we're going to zip tie them on that side to make them nice and neat to keep them away from this belt.
Now, when you get your set of spark plug wires, you'll notice that they come in different lengths. So obviously this longest one is going to feed back here all the way to spark plug number 4, 3, 2, 1 in accordance to length. That's how you're going to know where they go. And then these do come without the boot on the end. The reason why it's done that way is so that you can feed it through the loom if you're using it. This boot would prevent it from going through the loom. So once you have yours in place, then you can just slide this right over top. You can put like a little bit of grease on there if you need to, if the rubber's stiff. And then on the spark plugs, I do recommend putting a little bit of dielectric grease on them as well. The parts that we use in this video are available on our website, which is farmtractorrepair.com. From here over, we show the contents of the basic 12-volt conversion kit, which is alternator, wiring harness, belt, coil, and hardware. Now, you might also want to include some extras in your conversion purchase, which might mean an amp gauge if you need a new one of those, a key switch, resistor, starter button, battery cables, ground and power. If you want to replace your spark plug wires, we offer those. And because you do need to remove the steering wheel in order to get the hood off the tractor, in case you break your steering wheel or if you decide, hey, I had that off and it was in bad shape, I want to put a new one on, we have that as well with the nut that goes on top. Now, in addition to these parts, we do also offer a premium 12-volt conversion kit, which has the contents of this kit as well as some extras. And if you do need some extras, that kit might be a savings, so you can look at that on our website as well. All of these items are available at farmtractorrepair.com. I realize you can buy electrical parts a lot of places. My dad and I have done a lot of research to pick the best quality parts, and we've used them. We're very familiar with them and sell these with confidence. I know that you'll be happy with them for your tractor as well. On the dash, you can install a new resistor assembly like this one. This has the 1/2 ohm resistor at the bottom and serves as a terminal block here at the top, so it's kind of a 2-in-1 deal, and this is what should be originally on your tractor, and you can replace it with a new one. Inside here, there might be a little plastic washer, which is made on some resistors for allowance of different size screws. So if you need to remove those, like I've done here, for your screws to fit into the holes, you can do so. So with that, I am ready to just set this resistor right here on the dash is where it goes.
And I'm working on the ignition switch. This tractor did not have a key switch. It just had an old push button switch, which we did not want to have a push button switch on this tractor. I like to have a key so that it can be removed and the tractor can't start. When you have grandchildren around, you think about the person you're going to sell this tractor to, a key switch is really important to have a safety on here. So we're going to put that on there. We had to take, the dash is aluminum, so it's very easy to cut. So I took a die grinder and I just cut the hole a little bit larger to accept an original tile switch. Some of these Ford tractors, this is a 1949 in. You get a little later in the 2-ins, the switch was up here in the tower of the steering column, and this one does not. This one was down here on the dash. So wherever this switch is, this one's here on the dash. I cleaned the hole up so that I could get it in there and have a key. I'm going to pull it through like that, and it just has a nut and a washer that goes on the back side.
Another option that you might like to replace is this amp gauge. Sometimes gauges get cracked or stopped working, and since we're going to have a working charging system and we're done with this gauge will let us know that we're charging. So on the back side, you just see these prongs. It just slides through here, and you can look at it and make sure that you're installing it straight. And then once you have it installed, this goes on the back side like that. And then with this amp gauge, you get a little washer and nut set. So you just use one to hold it on, and then the other washers and nuts that are in that kit will be installed after we put the wires on. On the back side of the dash behind your battery, you will probably see these two items. This top one is a cutout, and this is only necessary on a 6-volt system. You're just going to completely remove it. You don't need to replace it with anything different when you are converting to a 12-volt system. This is the starter button, which is inside here, and this is not 6-volt, 12-volt sensitive, but because we're here and this looks like it's a really old starter button, my dad and I think it's a good idea to put a new starter button on. This isn't required. This is just a bonus that we're choosing to do. So here's our new starter button. It's got a gasket on back, and it just slides in there like so, and then you just bolt it on. Now there is a starter button up here by the gear shifter, and that starter button just activates this starter button that's inside here. This is the one that actually does the real work of starting the tractor. On the starter button, we'll attach cables to either end. You can see that we removed those nuts that are on the back side. So on my side, I have this cable, which is going to attach here and then wrap around and go onto the starter.
On my side over here, I've got the other battery cable that I'm putting down here. I'm going to put mine on the other side.
Notice up here on the battery tray, we did attach a brand new ground cable like this. We like to use this braided style for the ground. It's just easily recognizable as to what battery cable is ground, and you can attach one just like that as well. Now comes the fun part, which is installing the wiring harness. On your harness, you should look for your 2 longest wires, which I have here in my hands. These wires are going to go to the coil and the alternator. The color of the wires that you have may differ from the color of wires that I'm using, and even the shape of the wiring harness might differ a little bit. So let me stress to you that you're looking for the 2 longest wires that are going to stretch from the front of the tractor all the way back to the dash. So with that, I'm going to lay this around here and stretch this underneath. This heavier wire goes to the alternator, and I'm going to bring it underneath here just because once this is all hooked up, I don't want it to be in the way of anything. And then there's just one post on the back of the alternator here, and the wire slides over it. And then this thinner wire is going to go right here on top of the coil. There's just one post, and that's where it goes.
And on the other end of Rachel's long wires, we have on the end, some of these harnesses will have the right spade, some will not. This harness that we have here in our hand, fortunately we can show you, has the wrong, doesn't have a ring terminal on the end. So I'm going to cut this terminal off, and I'm going to put a spade terminal on there. So I just stripped it off. I'm going to put the ring terminal on. And when you put these ring terminals on, I like to make sure that they go all the way on, and I want to see the copper wire coming out the end of that ring terminal so I know that it's through. And I just have a set of stake-on pliers here to squeeze it down, make sure I get it in the right spot. Gives a nice crimp on it, and now I have a ring terminal. This wire has to come down and go under the battery box and feed up through here so it's nice and neat. So I'm going to feed this up here before I put it on.
Need help?
Yeah, I seem to really struggle with getting that in there.
You can see one, but not the other.
The other one's coming right
There it
behind
goes.
it. Anyhow, Rachel fed them up through here. Now that I got them up here, the one from the alternator is going to go on the negative side of the gauge. So I'm going to put that up there. Rachel's going to get it started on there for you so you can see.
Oops.
And boy, I caught that, didn't I?
Yeah.
So the negative side is important because the power from the battery is going to go on the other side, which is the positive side of the battery. We're going to get that in just a minute. The other one that Rachel sent up here from the coil goes down here to the resistor, and the coil feeds through the resistor, so we're going to put it right here on this side of the resistor. This is a universal harness, and on the part that I have here, it has a white wire, could be yellow on other harnesses. Don't get hung up on the color, but this tractor does not have the starter solenoid. A 9N doesn't use that, so the white wire would have went through the dash to the solenoid. Don't have that. So we have to clip this off to make it nice and neat. So I'm going to cut that off this harness just so it doesn't get in our way. And all that's left is the heavy red wire, and it has a large terminal on this end, small terminal on this end. The small terminal is going up here to the gauge, and the big terminal is going down to that new starter button that Rachel and I pushed in and getting off the positive cable that goes to the battery. We're going to tie it right onto the bottom. So I'm going to fish that right down through there so it's neat on our harness. Got it. And I'm going to put my end on down here at the battery cable end of the starter button, and Rachel's going to put it on the gauge side.
Once you have that in place, then you can wire up your key switch. So take a look at the two ends of my key switch here. I had to snip it and widen it just a little bit because these spades or loops were too tight to go over top. So you are going to first put one end on the opposite end of the coil wire here that's going to go through the resistor. So one end goes there, and the opposite end is going to come up here to the top of our junction right here on this terminal, just like that. And then your harness also comes with this jumper wire, and that's just going to jump right from that top post like that up to the gauge. I'm going to put it on this side because I know this side is loose. And then we will tighten both of those up. When you have these wires, notice how this one's a little bit long, so as you're tightening up, you can swing it back so that the wire is out of the way. Same with this longer jumper wire as well.
So when we put the hood on, we don't want to pinch
Right.
any wires here on this side.
Yep. It's crucial that you understand that when you switch to a 12-volt system, you now have a negatively ground system. So that means that your hot cable is going to come to the positive side of your battery, and that the ground cable goes to the negative side. That's going to be opposite from your 6-volt system if your 6-volt system was working correctly before you started. It's also really important that your battery is fully charged. Don't start this tractor up for the first time with a battery that's old. Have a fully charged battery. It's got to excite the alternator when we start it up. Also, the order of what you put the cables on first. So notice we put the hot cable on first and then the ground.
That way, if I touch the wrench onto the metal dash or
Right.
the air cleaner or something like that, it do not arc.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. So we have the cables on now in the right order, and we are ready to try this system out.
Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of gas in the fuel line here, just so we can run it for a little bit. You can see.
Our homemade system here. I don't waste any fuel. Okay, the truth moment is here.
We're in neutral.
We are. Darky.
Okay.
Good job.
So our system charges, and that's what we like to see. We like to see a positive charge on the amp gauge. As a word of caution, let's say you do this and your gauge is going the wrong way. What you probably did wrong is switched out the alternator wire and the wire that comes down here from the starter button. It's a common mistake. There will be one wire left either on your harness or detached from your harness, and this wire is for headlights. So if your tractor is equipped with headlights and you need this wire, go ahead and use it. Do make sure that you change your bulbs to 12-volt bulbs. You can keep the same fixture of the light, just change out the actual bulbs and have those 12-volt. So that concludes our 12-volt conversion. We have a charging system that works. It's neat and clean. We don't have extra wires hanging out of the way where they shouldn't be, and we are good to go. I hope that this tutorial is helpful to you, and it gives you all the confidence that you need to do a 12-volt conversion on your tractor. When you're ready to do so, please visit our website, farmtractorrepair.com, for the parts that you need, and you can also subscribe to our channel. We release new videos often, and the N-Series Ford tractors are featured quite a bit, so if you subscribe, it'll let you know when we release a new video. You can also look back in our channel. What other videos do we have on the N-Series Fords? Carburetor,
Hydraulics.
engine rebuild, distributor, anything else?
That's what I can think of right now.
I guess so.
So far.
Lots of, the clutch. We did the clutch
Yes.
video too. So lots of videos that you can watch. It'll be a resource to you on our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.